The sport is sponsored by Macy's Backstage. Aztecs tomorrow night taking on Boise State in a must-see game at Snapdragon. That game, it's going at 7:30 here. Fletch and J.R. Tolver get going with pregame at 5:30 per usual. You can hear that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. The Lake Show are back tonight after a drubbing at the hands of the Oklahoma City Thunder Wednesday night. They'll be taking on New Orleans in the Pelicans in New Orleans tonight at 5 o'clock. They are a pretty big favorite in that one. Macy's Backstage is a whole department inside your Macy's store where you'll find everything you need for the holidays, all for under $35 with new arrivals every day. You never know what amazing deals you'll find. Don't wait. Find a location at Macy'sBackstage.com.
Yeah, let's get it going on a Friday. What's going on, everybody? Ben Fletcher, Sammy along with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then. Southern California, the wettest place in the country. Congratulations, everybody. We did it. Over the next 4 days, we got some torrential downpour coming to the city of San Diego, the greater Southern California area, an atmospheric river, they're calling it. So we'll probably get about a half inch of rain because that's how it usually goes here.
Yeah, I thought we were supposed to wake up in like flooding and there was like a drizzle outside my house.
It was supposed to be last night was when it was supposed to really start and hit heavy. And then it got pushed till later tonight. And now I think it's pushed all the way till tomorrow morning. So the storm is just slow moving as it comes in. But we're not talking weather here on San Diego Sports 760. We got a busy day for you. As our buddy Friday on YouTube said, is it 12 o'clock yet? Can confirm it is 12 o'clock.
We're getting this thing going. Happy Friday to you.
Now, Tyler follows along with long shots every single day. Long shots was almost on a real heater this week, but Adonai Mitchell had to screw it up, the newest New York Jet, with a couple of drops. If he would have caught one of them, game over.
Yeah, I was very frustrated last night with that performance. Travion Henderson was fantastic, got more than 15 and a half rush attempts. Justin Fields had that long touchdown, a 22-yarder. I felt good about that. Adonai Mitchell, I never thought I'd say this. Justin Fields dropped 2 different passes in the bucket to Adonai Mitchell.
Perfect passes.
And he dropped it. There's nothing to explain what they did to the San Diego betting public yesterday in the New York Jets, but I guess this is what happens when you bet on the New York Jets.
So Adonai Mitchell, welcome to the team, because now it's Carl Anthony Towns, Nemhard from
Andrew Nemhard and Ryan Nemhard, Carl Anthony Towns and Adonai Mitchell. Is there anyone else
blacklisted? You were terrible with Flaherty this year, but you kept going back to him.
Yeah, Jack Flaherty has hit a list. So we got one in each sport that we're.
And no tennis players because Sammy's perfect in tennis.
Yeah.
We'll have a new long shots coming up at 12:45. We also got Steve Hartman coming on the show today at 1:30 for his normal Friday appearance and a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld. But let's talk about that game last night. So Jets, Patriots, not a lot when you look at it from the outside of what would make last night an entertaining game. However, the Jets kept it close. Look, I thought it was a bit of an underwhelming performance from every Patriot not named Travion Henderson, who was fantastic. And hey, it turns out Mike Vrabel, when you draft a running back high and use him, he's going to provide you with a win essentially on his own shoulders, which is what he did yesterday. But Drake May had one of those performances that I think a lot of people have been waiting for. He wasn't necessarily as sharp as we've seen him this year. He didn't really have the big play in his bag last night. But the Patriots do enough. They have the best record in the NFL at this point. And it's crazy, man, that 5-6 years ago, we were all talking about the Patriots as the most hated franchise because they're just so good. They always win. They get to the Super Bowl with Tom Brady. All of a sudden, the Patriots are good again. It took less than a decade for them to turn the clock back and get good again. And I do think this team is for real. They have a great defense, a good head coach, a young rising star quarterback, an awesome running back that they drafted this year. And it looks like the Patriots once again are set up for success with a very young roster. And even in a game last night where they looked underwhelming and I thought the Jets gave them their best shot, they still walk away comfortably winning that game. And not to mention covering the spread in that game. Sammy, what'd you think about last night?
Well, I'm actually going to give Vrabel credit. Now I'm frustrated because Travion Henderson's been on my fantasy team, but you see a lot of rookies, especially running backs, because college football seasons are only 10 games, 11 games. You're not playing a full NFL season. In college, so you see a lot of times they call it the rookie wall. Rookies will be fantastic the first half of the year and then kind of fall off late. This could be the smartest thing he ever did. Mike Vrabel is burying Travion Henderson for the
just dealing with the fumbles for the first 5 weeks of the season with Ramondre Stevenson.
Dealing with it. You're winning games. Knowing your schedule's pretty easy because you're not playing a first place schedule because the Bills been winning that division every year, and you kind of bring them along. And now Travion Henderson's this weapon that's being unleashed the last 2 weeks and looks like a future star running back in this league. I thought Drake May was good last night. He was, again, kind of one of those games where he's been running through everyone. Jets, even though they're bad, division rival. You could tell they showed. I got to give the Jets credit in this. They actually showed up to play last night, which that game had all the makings of it was going to be an awful Thursday night game, and it was actually respectable. But you got to give the Patriots credit. It's tough to grade how good they are because they have 2 big wins. They've beaten the Bucs last week and Buffalo in Buffalo. If you look at the rest of their wins, they've beaten a lot of the bottom half of the NFL. So it's kind of hard to grade where they are. This team is definitely on the come. You think to be with Drake May, for years, going to be a perennial player in the AFC. But I'm curious how, if they would be favored, if they're the 1 seed, if they have Buffalo, the Chiefs, or the Ravens coming to town in game 1, I don't even know if they would be favored.
It'd be hard to favor them against any of those teams. Now, I guess the best argument right now would probably be for Baltimore, but we'll see. Baltimore is about to get back to full strength here very, very soon, and they're going to be an absolute problem. Now the part of the game last night that kind of got put on the back burner, do you know, quietly, the Jets released that Garrett Wilson was going to the IR? Very suspiciously quietly, all of a sudden we get a little report out. Garrett Wilson, the star wide receiver for the New York Jets, is going to the IR. Probably won't be available the rest of the season.
You know what that's called? My agent called the Jets organization, said, I'm not playing and risking an injury.
I thought so too.
Until the rest of the season. I'm surprised Breece Hall hasn't done it.
Same. I can't believe Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson weren't traded at the trade deadline, first and foremost. And it sounds like we've gotten reports now that both of them were heavily talked about up until the last minute of the trade deadline. But I would agree 100%, Sammy. I think this was one of those NFL news drops that happens right before kickoff, and all of a sudden the world is like, wait, what's wrong with Garrett Wilson? He wasn't hurt last week. He didn't come out of the game. And then all of a sudden it's Garrett Wilson. We probably won't see him on the field the rest of this year because an agent made a phone call saying, Garrett's hamstring is messed up, man. This thing is brutal.
Can't play on it tonight.
Cannot
just
play.
Popped up.
So we're going to need you to trade him as soon as this offseason hits, and he's not going to risk anything about his body for the rest of the year. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe we see him back on the field. Maybe we don't. My guess, we don't. Sammy, let's get to the big 3 here of hour number 1. If you want SeaWorld tickets, just keep hanging on. We're going to get to this Aztecs football showdown with Boise State coming up tomorrow, coming up in just a little bit. But first, the big 3. Sammy takes us through the top stories in the world of sports. Sammy, smash it.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? Co-workers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big 3.
All right, San Diego Sports 760. We just have breaking news, terrible news, awful news. Our text line is down. What are we going to do?
It's my favorite part about radio is reading texts. Right now, I think the rain is messing up the text line. I got an alert that the EAS system or something. This is very technical.
Oh my goodness. This is the flood watch that's ripped through Southern California has drowned the tower where our text line lives in. So here's what we're going to have to do today. All right. Very, very simple solution. This is what we do. We offer solutions, not problems. You can comment on our YouTube page at San Diego Sports 760. So everybody who usually texts this show, jump over to YouTube. You can see Sammy's just luscious golden locks of hair. You can see my bald head. And then go over to the free iHeartRadio app. And while you're listening to the show, there's a little red microphone icon up in the top right-hand corner of the screen. You can press that. And you can leave us a voicemail, which is even better than a text message. We call that the talkback mic. We love the talkback mic. With no text line, we will find other ways to overcome. I feel
naked without the text line. I don't like it so far.
And no one wants to see Sammy naked. So, Sammy, where are we going with the top 3 stories of the day?
All right, we're going to the NFL. We're going Seahawks, Rams, one of the biggest games this weekend. Who has more pressure on there, or who would a win mean more for between those two teams?
Yeah, I love this game. I really do. These are 2 of the best teams in the NFC. And when you look at roster building, I think outside of the Eagles, these 2 teams have done a better job than just about anybody, except they have one thing that the Eagles don't have. Never mind. I won't go into Jalen Hurts slander this
early. Were you about to say a quarterback?
Yeah, I was, but I would feel really bad about saying that. All right, so I look at the Rams and the Seahawks right now as my 2 favorite teams out of the NFC to potentially get to a Super Bowl. What this game is going to show you is which one of these teams has the stones to compete in a playoff-like atmosphere, which this is absolutely going to be. This is the type of moment. Do you remember last year? It was week 15 or 16. I can't remember when Sam Darnold faded. all of a sudden he started going downwards because he was playing divisional matchups late in the season that had massive playoff implications. What is this game between the Rams and the Seahawks? Whoever wins it is in the driver's seat of the NFC West for the rest of the way. Whoever wins this game is likely in the driver's seat, depending on what Philly does, of the NFC the rest of the way. So is Sam Darnold going to step up and play big in a big moment? That's what this game is going to tell you. And if he does, I'd have a hard time saying the Seahawks aren't my favorite to get to the Super Bowl out of the NFC.
I think a win would be more for Seattle because the Rams we've seen do it. I mean, they won a Super Bowl not a few years ago. And Seattle also has a longer runway. It sounds odd because I do think the way the Rams have built the team, they're going to be good for a long time, even when Matthew Stafford retires, because the defense young, very talented. Puka Nacua is not going anywhere. Kyron Williams isn't going anywhere. So they're going to be a good team, but they are going to have to find a quarterback. It's looking right now like the Seahawks found their quarterback. Maybe they signed him as a bridge quarterback, and the mistake the Vikings made, letting him go, jury's still out on J.J. McCarthy. But they look like they found their franchise quarterback. Seattle, though, with that home field advantage, being in the rain in the Northwest.
Aren't they playing in L.A. this weekend?
No, I know. I'm saying if they got the number 1 seed.
Right.
They're playing it in L.A. this weekend. If they're able to win this game and take it back to Seattle and get the 1 seed, everything runs through Seattle, I would take them a lot more seriously as a Super Bowl threat. Whereas I think the Rams, despite them being in L.A. and all the sunshine and everything, can go on the road and play with anyone. They showed that last year when they almost beat the Eagles. They were the only team in the playoffs that actually gave the Eagles a run for their money. And had the Jalen Carter not broke through on that sack, they might have won that game and been taking on the Commanders in the NFC title game. So I think the Rams, if they're going on the road, I have full confidence the Rams can get through the NFC. If the Seahawks are going on the road, I don't think so. So I think the Seahawks, it's a bigger game for them. All right. Who would be in more trouble this weekend with a loss? The Buffalo Bills to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or the Chiefs in Denver?
Well, the Chiefs, because the whole world would be proven right about the Denver Broncos, because Steve Hartman would come on this show and talk unlimited crap, because Andy Reid has this near perfect record coming off a bye. And with Mahomes, I think he's 6-1 off a bye. Do I have that number right, Sammy?
Yeah, I believe it's 6-1.
6-1 coming off a bye with Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs are
like
more
18-3 in his career or something.
The Chiefs are in more trouble if they lose this weekend, because people like me will ridicule the Chiefs non-stop. In reality, in terms of like records and playoffs and stuff, maybe the Bills. But in terms of NFL picture, Chiefs.
Both teams, if they lose this game, are probably out of the division. Honestly, because of the way with the Patriots, the Patriots have the easiest schedule remaining. So if you're Buffalo, you got to stay within striking distance of 2 games, beat them in New England, and hope they falter on one of these games. And I think there's concerns with Buffalo if they lose this game, because you're starting to look like, hey, you beat the Chiefs, but you're dropping in Miami. You dropped to Tampa Bay, who's very injured. Atlanta, like a lot of inconsistency. The Chiefs, yeah, this is a big game for Kansas City, and we're not going to sugarcoat it. The Chiefs need to win this game. If they want any shot of winning the division, it's over if they lose.
Did anyone think we were going to sugarcoat it?
I don't sugarcoat it. I don't sugarcoat my teams, unlike the Niners. We're going to get to Brock Purdy in a second. We're going to get to that in a minute. But, yeah, the Chiefs need to win this game. If they lose this game, the division's over, because the Chargers aren't going anywhere. The Broncos would both be up, 1-0 on the Chiefs as well as the Chargers. And the Chiefs also they had a lot of momentum there for a month, and then you lose to Buffalo coming off a bye week. This is the team that everyone says was going to win the Super Bowl, win the division. This is a premier opportunity to go out there and prove it. If you don't, then you're proving people right. I don't think either the Bills or the Chiefs are missing the playoffs if they lose this week, but big week for both teams.
Where's that game at? Kansas City, Denver?
It's in Denver. Chiefs 3.5-point road favorites.
This is a big game for Kansas City. Are you ready for this? Are you nervous at all?
Oh, I'm ready, because see, my team's playing in meaningful games this time of year, so we're excited.
I don't know why you have to just go low about it. It just seems like it's unnecessary, Sammy.
Who is under more pressure on Sunday? Trevor Lawrence against the Chargers.
By the way, the Niners are 6-4. It's not like they're completely out of anything.
Yeah, I know. We'll see Brock Purdy.
Better record than the Chiefs do. Jesus.
We'll see Brock Purdy noodle arm some stuff and get benched
Seriously,
for Mac Jones on Sunday.
The Niners have a better record than the Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, if the Chiefs got to play in that division and that schedule, I think they would be that
NFC West, one of the best divisions in football.
No,
are you just smoking over there? What's happening right now?
What's going to happen on Monday if Brock Purdy goes out here and craps the bed against Arizona, because he's starting on Sunday?
Yeah.
Is Mac Jones back at quarterback next week?
I don't know. He's got a lot of pressure on him. I think Brock is going to go out and be awesome. Niners, one of my favorite bets this weekend, if I'm being honest.
Really? Against the Arizona Cardinals?
Really? Yeah, Jacoby Brissett, real worried. Marvin Harrison Jr. with appendicitis, real worried.
We'll be putting some money on the Cardinals spread. Who is under more pressure, though, on Sunday? Trevor Lawrence against the Chargers or Bo Nix against the Chiefs?
Oh, I love that question. For me, it is Bo Nix because I think Bo Nix has been extremely underwhelming this year. Trevor Lawrence, I think we know where he is now. And we've seen it in 4 different iterations of head coaches. We've seen Trevor Lawrence, who is the golden child of the NFL, the messiah of Jacksonville. It hasn't panned out yet. I'm not going to say he's a bust. He got to that second contract, but Trevor Lawrence hasn't panned out. Bo Nix, on the other hand, we proclaimed him. He was a solid NFL quarterback starting a season ago. This year, he's been underwhelming. They have a great record. They've been really good in close games, and Bo Nix has been good in the fourth quarter of close games. It's not going to work like that against the Kansas City Chiefs. You're going to need to be good for 4 quarters in order to beat them. Bo Nix has a ton of pressure on him this weekend because we already crowned him.
But have we crowned Bo Nix or have we crowned the Denver Broncos drafting ability and ability to put a team together?
I think a lot of people were ready to crown Bo Nix at the end of last year as a perennial starter in the NFL. We got a Broncos fan down the hall. You want me to bring him in here?
Oh, no. We don't need Donkeys fans coming in here today.
Donkeys? You are so rude today, Sammy.
That's what they're called. They're the Donkeys.
The Denver Donkeys?
The Denver Donkeys.
It's actually not a bad name.
Both quarterbacks had a lot of pressure in terms of, well, Trevor Lawrence, I would say, has more pressure in terms of if the Broncos lose to the Chiefs, the Broncos are still a playoff team. If Trevor Lawrence loses, you go from, let's rewind a month ago. He has the game against the Chiefs on the Monday night where you're going, this is the breakout. This is what Trevor Lawrence needed to really kind of regain what he had in the league a couple years ago. And then you lose last week. It's not all of his fault. The defense was atrocious against Davis Mills, but you lose that one. You got blown out. The offense was terrible against the Los Angeles Rams in that London game. Trevor Lawrence and the Chargers both currently in the wild card right now. The Jags need a big win. Trevor Lawrence needs to put on a show against them to kind of show that he's that guy. Bo Nix has a lot of pressure, I think, in terms of, is he a franchise starter? Because it gets magnified. Like, Michael Penix has been whatever in the same draft class, but the Falcons are a whatever team, so it doesn't get magnified. Bo Nix is on a team with maybe the best defense in the NFL, a good receiving core, a really good running back duo with Dobbins and RJ Harvey, and a great head coach. So when he doesn't play well, you go, is this the guy? Is Bo Nix holding back Denver? We're going to get a lot of questions answered on Sunday when they play the Chiefs.
I like it. All right, take a quick break here. On the other side, Aztecs hosting Boise State this weekend. Whichever team wins controls their own destiny in the Mountain West. It's a big one at Snapdragon Stadium. We'll talk about it coming up next at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. And a thank you to the folks over at the Aztecs for Life blood drive. They had us out there yesterday. We had a great time at Viejas Arena, man. Tons of people donating blood, which is awesome this time of year. I know Aztecs for Life or goaztecs.com/blood drive is where you can find a bunch of information on it, but it was a huge success. Thank you to everybody who supported it. All right. We had a busy weekend coming up here on San Diego Sports 760. In terms of the play-by-play world, we got Oklahoma at Alabama tomorrow at 12 o'clock. Big game. Sunday, Bucks at Bills. Big game. 105 on Sunday. Seahawks, Rams. Big game. Monday Night Football this week. Cowboys, Raiders. Less of a big game, but lots
anytime
of
the Cowboys and Raiders play, there will be a lot of people tuning in.
For sure, man. So that's what's coming up in outside local sports. In terms of local sports, tomorrow night, 5:30, we get on the air for Aztecs football. It's a huge one down at Snapdragon Stadium. And I think a year ago, if you would have told us that coming up on November 15th of 2025, the Aztecs football program would be playing in a huge football game, we all would have signed up for it in a heartbeat. So yeah, the loss to Hawaii was disappointing, but San Diego State has the ability to get right back on track here this weekend. And you're playing against Boise State, who you talk to guys like J.R. Tolver, they hate Boise State more than just about anything. So Boise State coming into town, it looks like, I don't think it's been officially denoted, but it looks like Maddox Matson, their quarterback, who's dealing with an ankle injury that he got a couple weeks ago, will not be starting against San Diego State. But this is strength on strength. These are two programs built through their defenses. It is going to be a slobber knocker of a football game that might be aided out by some rain. This is going to be a fun one at Snapdragon Stadium coming up this weekend. I can't wait for it, man. This is at its best for Mountain West football.
Well, and let's see how they respond. That's what's exciting about this one is the season was kind of a fairy tale season, major bump in the road last week in Hawaii, not how anyone wanted that game to go. And now you're welcoming a Boise State team, like you mentioned, Maddox Matson, who's been he has never been a star quarterback for Boise State, but he was a part of that team that went to the college football playoff. Obviously aided a lot by Ashton Genty, but he's an experienced quarterback and knows what he's doing.
And he was very good this season before he got injured.
So him not playing, this is a big game for the Aztecs. The Aztecs to go from 3 wins to possibly hosting a Mountain West championship game, like the jump that does for recruiting in the program, it can't even be talked about enough. So big game. Excited for this one tomorrow night. Hopefully Aztecs get a big W.
And if we're looking at history, San Diego State got their asses beat earlier this year against Washington State on the road. They come back home to Snapdragon Stadium to take on what at the time we thought was a really, really good Cal team. They beat them 34-0. So San Diego State goes on the road, kind of gets their asses kicked against Hawaii. They're coming back home to take on a very good opponent in Boise State. Let's see what happens. I think there's storylines all over the place for this one. J.R. Tolver and I will get going at 5:30 tomorrow from Snapdragon Stadium, which hopefully isn't just completely drenched in this torrential downpour we're supposed to be getting, and have a good time on the broadcast tomorrow. All right, the text line apparently is working, or just some texts are coming in.
I was reading this as you were talking.
But we got a great one from the 615 who texted in the show and says, Sammy, somebody has to look out for you, bro, so I guess I'm the one to do it. The expression when a team is on the rise is referred to as on the come up, not on the come. Is that something you say regularly? Who'd you say was on the come?
Who did I say was on the come? The Patriots.
The Patriots. You said they're on the come.
In terms of an AFC playoff picture.
Did you mean they're on the come up?
They're on the come up.
Like they're on the rise?
They're on the rise.
Like they're a burgeoning team?
It was a burgeoning.
Yeah,
that's a big boy word. That's a dictionary word.
Mm-hmm. Rich Ornberger taught it to me.
Rich reads a dictionary.
Rich actually has a pretty extensive vocabulary. I don't know that he always knows what words mean, but it makes him sound a little bit smarter.
615. I appreciate you looking out for me with that because I say that a lot.
What are some other things on the come? The weather in San Diego on the come?
I guess Brock Purdy making a start on Sunday. He's on the come.
Sure.
I don't know if his career's on the come, but I think he's on the come.
Making his way back to starting position. He's on the rise.
The Aztecs could be on.
Sure. They're on the rise. They're burgeoning. It's a burgeoning college football program.
I can actually see our bosses running down the hallway as we speak.
I don't actually. I think we're good. But there is a lot going on this weekend right here on San Diego Sports 760. So get on in here. You don't have to change that channel once this weekend. We got college football all over the dial coming up tomorrow, and Aztecs, of course, tomorrow night, and then NFL all day Sunday and Monday. Busy weekend. All right, coming up next, Bleacher Report just released an article of the worst trades of the 21st century. That's what we're in right now. The worst trades of the 21st century. So from 2000 to 2025, the worst trades. Number one shouldn't be a shocker, but the rest of them are a lot of fun to talk about. So we'll do so next. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport is sponsored by Macy's Backstage. Aztecs taking on Boise State tomorrow night, live from Snapdragon at 7:30. Hear that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. Fletch and J.R. Tolver get going at 5:30 for the pregame show. And the Lake Show are back tonight after a rough loss in Oklahoma City the other night, wrapping up their road trip with the Pelicans and then the Bucks in New Orleans tonight. They are a massive favorite to beat the 2-9 Pelicans. Macy's Backstage is a whole department inside your Macy's store where you'll find everything you need for the holidays, all for under $35 with new arrivals every day. You never know what amazing deals you'll find. Don't wait. Find a location at Macy'sBackstage.com.
San Diego Sports 760. If it's your first time joining us, my name is Ben Fletcher. Sammy Long is here every day as well. We do the show from noon to 2. We talk a lot of sports. We talk a lot of gambling. We have a lot of fun, and we have your chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld San Diego for their Christmas celebration. Twinkling Lights meeting Ocean Delights, November 14th through January 4th. You can experience the magic of the season and meet incredible animals like belugas, penguins, and sea otters. Plus, check out a winter wonderland with a million dazzling lights and the all-new Clyde and Seymour's Christmas. Tickets and more information at SeaWorldSanDiego.com. We are not going to give those away right now or even in the next 10 minutes, but maybe in the next 20 minutes. So stay tuned here on San Diego Sports 760. All right, Bleacher Report put out a list. They do this a lot, and I actually like their list. They have some fun stuff every once in a while. I remember we got into that whole conversation when they had the most influential athletes of this century. God, were they wrong on that one. But this one they released because Nico Harrison just got fired from the Dallas Mavericks. Obviously, that's coming in the aftermath of the Luka Doncic trade to the Los Angeles Lakers, which Bleacher Report does have as the worst trade this century. But then you go through this list a little bit and you see Paul George for SGA and picks as the second worst trade of all time or this century. You see Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce getting traded over to the Nets as the third. And then all the way down to number 4 is Deshaun Watson to the Browns. How is that not higher on this list?
That's interesting. Because
you gave one of the biggest contracts in NFL history, the most guaranteed money in NFL history, to a guy who's played like 7 games for you and played forgettably in all 7 of them. And now where's Deshaun Watson? I think he's still on the Browns payroll. I actually do think he is still getting money from the Browns.
Should we read this list? Because I'm looking through it right now. There's a top 20.
All right, go from like 10 down.
Okay.
Well, actually, it's important to note number 18 was Juan Soto to the Padres.
Juan Soto to the Padres. 16 was Micah Parsons to the Packers. 10 some hockey.
It's way too early for that Micah Parsons one, by the way.
Yeah, that feels hard to,
because both teams could benefit from that.
Forsberg to the Predators at 10, Trent Richardson to the Colts at 9, Russell Wilson to the Broncos at number 8.
Higher on the list, needs to be.
I agree with that. James Harden to the Rockets, number 7. It's number 6, Miguel Cabrera to the Detroit Tigers. 5, Markelle Fultz for Jason Tatum. Number 4, Deshaun Watson to the Browns. Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce to the Nets. Number 3, number 2, Paul George and Shea Alexander for picks. And then Luka to the Lake Show, number 1.
So Kawhi was also on this list. The Kawhi trade from the Spurs to the Raptors. And I disagree with it being on the list whatsoever. Because first of all, it worked out swimmingly for the Raptors. They got an NBA championship out of it. And for the Spurs, they're right back in the mix in the West. Like, it took a few years, but the Spurs are right back in it. And they wouldn't have been able to do so without the draft compensation they got from the Raptors.
Yes, but it took a while. Like, it wasn't that exact draft compensation. I see what you're saying. But yeah, I mean, they got a... The problem with that one, why it's hard to kill San Antonio, is because...
The load management aspect.
Yeah, and he wanted out. Because remember, he wanted to be a Laker at the time. That was the thing. He wanted to be a Laker, and then it was a Clipper, and then they traded him because they didn't want to trade him in the Western Conference. If you're the Spurs, why would you want to help the Clippers or the Lakers be good, knowing you got to face them all the time? You send him to Toronto, they win a chip. That one, I'm surprised. Mookie Betts actually pretty low at number 15 because the prospect that went to Boston barely even played. He never made his debut. That's one of the worst MLB trades of all time. But I mean, nothing comes close to the Luka deal in terms of like in the
I don't know that anything ever will, if I'm being completely honest.
No,
Dallas essentially got nothing.
Because if no one, especially in the NBA, because it's the hardest sport to get a franchise player. In terms of drafting a franchise player, like if you're not picking in the top 5, you really don't have a shot to be getting a generational type player. Yes, there's guys who pop late in the lottery or late in the first round.
And he was 25 years old at the time of the trade.
A 25-year-old guard in a league that is going more guard oriented.
Who is the superstar in the NBA.
And you trade him for a guy who Anthony Davis won a ring, but is a massive history of injuries as playing out now.
And he's fat.
And he's fat, and Max Christie and pick. And you didn't even get all the Lakers draft picks. That has to be the worst trade of all time. The Shea one is we're going to look back on. We were talking about this before the show a little bit.
So, well, SGA got traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder along with other picks for Paul George.
Right. The thing with that one, the only thing I'll give for the Clippers is SGA wasn't SGA that we know now.
No one had even heard of him. He was a Canadian dude.
Right. He was a guy with some talent that would sometimes crack the rotation on the bench. But rule number 1 in the NBA, if Sam Presti, the general manager of the Oklahoma City Thunder, sees value in a player of yours, you're probably not developing him right. I mean, that's like
Sam played out.
Sam Presti has he's got AJ Mitchell, a guy that a second round pick from 2 years ago was averaging 18 points a game this year. Like he just knows more than everyone else. But Juan Soto at 18 to the Padres is interesting.
Juan Soto, look, because it didn't pan out for the Padres. If it had gone according to plan, the Padres win that World Series, right? They fizzle out against what was it that year? Was it the Phillies? I think it was the Phillies.
Yeah, it was the Padres beat the Dodgers.
They beat the Dodgers
and they lost
in
the Phillies.
NLDS.
Because they beat the Mets, Dodgers, and they lost the Phillies.
Right. And so look, that year you get past the Phillies, who knows? If you get past the Phillies in that year, you may end up winning a World Series, much like if you got past the Dodgers last year, you may end up winning a World Series. Both of those teams, by the way, had direct impacts of the Soto trade. The first one had Juan Soto on it. The second one had Michael King on it. So you look at those two teams, and if either of those worked out for the Padres, you're looking back at the Soto deal both ways, by the way, bringing him in and sending him out as one of the better trades in franchise history, as potentially the best trade in franchise history. The problem is it didn't work out. And that's what a lot of them on this list are. Randy Moss to the Patriots is on this list. Does everyone remember what Randy Moss was right before he went to the Patriots? He was done. He was cooked. Right. He was over with. People thought his career was over. He gets to the Patriots. He's with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, and all of a sudden it pops once again. And one of his best seasons in his career happened with the New England Patriots. So it's funny looking back on trades like this. Of course, Bleacher Report can make this list now, but outside of that, the Luka Doncic one, which was panned immediately by everybody, people thought Russ getting traded to Denver meant Denver was back in Super Bowl conversation.
Well, that one, so baseball I give a little bit of a pass to when I see a bad trade, because it's rare that an MLB star gets traded for another MLB star. That just rarely happens. It's always a collection of prospects, guys that unless you're a diehard baseball fan and is following the farm system, you may not. The casual fan probably doesn't know a ton about. It's baseball general managers seeing potential talent in guys. So in terms of the Juan Soto deal, unfortunately for the Padres, if the Padres could have kept all the guys they sent to Washington, your James Wood, your CJ Abrams, your Mackenzie Gores, you'd be looking at a pretty damn good baseball team here in San Diego that might have pushed you over the top in the NL. But it's hard to go back and kill that trade because everyone's trying to get Juan Soto. And if it had come out that AJ Preller didn't make that deal, if he had, because remember, James Wood wasn't James Wood at the time. It was just a guy that could be really good down the way.
And really the rest of it, like Mackenzie Gore is on the trade block once again this offseason.
Right.
CJ Abrams had a down year after being really good the year before. So honestly, those guys are all. James Wood is a star.
AJ Preller would have been fired immediately if it had come out that he could have had Juan Soto for a package like that and didn't make the deal.
Dude, I remember the day it happened. The day, I believe it was JP Morosi. He had the tweet that said Juan Soto has officially come over to the San Diego Padres. We lost our effing minds. And that is to a person in San Diego. Rich broke that microphone that I'm looking at right now. Like, that was a day, man. And everyone was stoked about it at the time. And it was like, who cares what they sent back? You got Juan Soto.
Right.
And by the way, it almost worked.
Right.
They were right there, man, against the Phillies, and it just didn't pan out. If it would have worked, literally no one in San Diego will ever say anything about that trade. I still don't think it's a bad trade.
No.
I think it was the right trade, wrong results.
And this is why the NBA has the top two. 858 says Luka the Lakers is easily the worst trade ever. If Luka wins multiple chips, then you could say the Hawks threw Luka away to Dallas for Trae Young. People forget about that. On draft night, Trae Young and Luka Doncic were traded for each other on the night of.
Isn't that the same thing with Jason Tatum and was it
Markelle Fultz?
Markelle Fultz. That's right. The Sixers and the Celtics swap picks.
That one was terrible. In that draft class, everyone kind of focused on the Lakers because Fultz went 1 to the Sixers.
Celtics had the number 1 overall pick.
They traded
moved down.
Fultz went number 1 to Philly. Lonzo went number 2 to the Lakers. And then Jason Tatum ends up getting taken at 4. De'Aaron Fox later in the top 10. So you the NBA though, because
the Lakers, what are they thinking with that Lonzo pick with those names on the board?
No, it's
my God.
I mean, it set the franchise back for years with that. Now,
Jason Tatum, De'Aaron Fox, both are, in my opinion, excellent NBA players.
Oh yeah.
And you go with Lonzo Ball because of the storylines?
Well,
it's crazy.
To be fair to Mitch Kupchak, Lonzo Ball coming out of UCLA was the guy. Like his shooting problems, everyone kind of looked at him doing that little push jump shot he had. And he was an offensive scorer. He got to the league. It didn't work. But the running joke forever was, if we remember right, Kentucky dogged out UCLA in March Madness. De'Aaron Fox had it drop like 35 on Lonzo, and De'Aaron Fox on draft night kind of said he would remember that. De'Aaron Fox has had a way more successful NBA career than Lonzo Ball has.
How about some other ones? Matthew Stafford ended up on the Rams. Like Detroit and the Rams both end up working out.
That's a great trade for both.
It was excellent for both teams. Like, we never talk about the great trades, but the Deshaun Watson thing for me being at number 4 in this is so pitiful. Like, clearly to me, that's number 2. Clearly to me, if you're taking the Luka thing out of it, that would be the worst trade ever.
And I think what you said this earlier, the Russell Wilson one needs to be higher. Like, think about what the Seahawks have been able to do. A team that on that last downturn
that kicked off their rebuild. And
completely.
By the way, it was a soft rebuild. Like, they didn't even have to tank ever.
Right. That's what they were at the end of that tenure when Carroll and them weren't losing. They had the shank kick, they won on the Blair Walsh missed kick in Minnesota, but the team wasn't quite the same after the back-to-back Super Bowl appearances. They trade Russ. Everyone goes laughing stock of the league. You're getting, a Geno.
Wasn't it Drew Lock first?
Drew Lock, but they had a couple first-round picks, and Geno came with them, I believe, or did they sign Geno? I forgot how they got Geno, but Geno's good. Then they get rid of Geno when he wants a new contract. The Raiders pay him a bunch of money. That looks like a disaster. And they bring in the Viking scraps and Sam Darnold. Like what John Schneider and them have done up there in Seattle, that the turning it around on a rebuild, that's something that's so hard to do in the NFL. And it's just impressive.
And they're paying Sam Darnold like a mid-tier quarterback. And clearly he's at the top of the league right now. He's as good as anybody in football. It's been terrible for me to watch what Seattle's doing, but you have to give them a ton of credit because they never went into that full tank. They've constantly put out a decent product on the field. and they're just going to be a problem for years to come once again because they have one of the younger defenses, younger offenses, really too. And it seems like they got their franchise quarterback for like $100 million. So congratulations to the Seahawks, who are going to be problems for years to come. All right, Sammy, we got to get to some long shots here. Yesterday, almost Adonai Mitchell
blacklisted from long shots.
Almost
We'll only be doing Adonai Mitchell unders from here on out.
From here on, I don't even think we put him on a lineup. Not once, not never. We never trusted Jet ever again.
By the way, text line's back working. Got some fantastic text rolling in here. 70470. Start your message with team.
Why doesn't mine work?
Your text line's not working?
No.
Well, 619 has problems with you saying torrential downpour, Fletch. Current forecast for Mission Valley between 7 p.m. and 11 p.m. tomorrow night is 3/100 of an inch of rain. Be sure to get your arc ready, Fletch.
If you weren't listening at the beginning of the show, that was the joke. The joke was I was being a little sarcasm here. If we can catch up with it.
He said, get your arc ready.
Do you remember how I was saying, it's Southern California, wettest place in all the country over the next 4 days? Then I said, which means we're probably going to get like 1/4 of an inch of rain because that's the running joke in Southern California that the weather predicts the huge forecast and then there's nothing that happens. So thanks for lending credence to the joke, Texter.
858 Donkey fans think that their team has a chance of winning a Super Bowl, let alone a conference championships, are 100% on the come.
100%.
100%.
On the come up, on the rise. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. Long shots are coming up next live on the iHeartRadio app. If you're looking for SeaWorld tickets, you got to wait for just a little bit longer. We will be giving them away on the show today, a 4-pack of them. The Aztecs are back at Snapdragon Stadium tomorrow night. They got Boise State. Pregame coverage gets going at 5:30. John Schaefer, Rich Ornberger got the kick around 7:30 right here on your home for the Aztecs. San Diego Sports 760. Big weekend coming up. We got a lot going on here on 760. Play-by-play wise, we got Oklahoma at Alabama tomorrow, 12 o'clock, one of the biggest games in college football. Sunday, Bucks at Bills. Seahawks at Rams, and then Monday Night Football, Cowboys at Raiders, all of which will be heard here on San Diego Sports 760. Sammy, was there any reason you decided to play some Baby Got Back here on a Friday? I like it. I'm not complaining.
I just saw the song in the log and I heard it on the way in on the radio, and I was like, we're going to listen to some Sir Mix-a-Lot today.
What's bizarre is this is just the song that's playing in my head at most times, because I do, in fact, like big butts.
One of the greatest music videos of all time.
I'm pretty sure it's in the Bible as well. So that's what's going for Sir Mix-a-Lot. All right, we do long shots every single day on the show here. Sammy's been making us some money lately. I will say my account is looking very, very nice these days, in large part because of what you've been doing, Sammy. So let's keep the streak going. Last night, Adonai Mitchell screwed it up on our YouTube comments. Our buddy Rich said long shots actually made that game watchable last night, waiting for Mitchell to catch just one more pass. I blame Justin Fields.
Thank you, Rich. I do too. Actually, I blame Mitchell for dropping that.
He had 2 drops in that game. One of them down the left sideline. Either one of them would have cashed prize our long shots. Neither one of them came true. Our buddy Jay Silv saying, I mean, you only have to be right a few times a year as a meteorologist in San Diego. These people always overpredict our storms or lack thereof. Yeah. Happy Friday, everybody.
Real quick, from that point from Jay Silvs, I'm curious, and this is because I know we like work neighboring with a lot of the news channels. Is it a demotion to be a meteorologist in San Diego? Because is it supposed to be like you don't really know what you're doing, so you just sit there and go, it's going to be 75 every day?
So I went to college with one of our meteorologists here. She works for Fox 5, Megan Healy, and she does a great job. But for the most part, all she does is talk about how sunny it's going to be. But on weeks like this, like, have you ever spent any time around our Kogo people on weeks like this?
Yeah.
It is threat level midnight. It is, oh my God, San Diego's gonna flood. This is chaos. And then we always end up, like, I've been here for about 10 years now in San Diego. It's never that.
Yeah, like I just feel like it's, listen, if this is a demotion, you get to be in San Diego. That's fantastic. But I feel like are the best meteorologists in Minnesota or Chicago. Like Seattle, it's not that hard. It just rains all day.
The best is the Curb Your Enthusiasm episode where yes. Larry is talking about the weather guy who keeps lying about the rain because the weather guy wants the golf course to himself.
Dude, Curb Your Enthusiasm, just on a side note.
Maybe one of the best.
Maybe the greatest show of all time.
It is phenomenal. Larry David's a genius, man. All right, let's get to long shots for today. See if Sammy can make us a little bit of money, because really, Sammy, much like weather people, only have to be right a couple times for us to make some cash. So, Sammy, smash it.
You looking for some luck? Want to win big? Gotta play big.
You are so money, you don't even know it.
Time to take a chance.
Pay that man his money.
With long shots.
We got UFC 322. Is that right? 312? I can't remember the numbers.
We have everything in this long. I'm very excited about this long shots. We
760 asking for UFC to be included in long shots because Carlos Prates is going to be fighting. He says, check him out. Smokes cigs, drinks whiskey.
You know what? I'm so happy 760 said this because Carlos Prates is already in my lineup.
It's like what Sammy does on a regular basis. Just be smoking cigs and drinking that whiskey, bro.
Smoking cigs, drinking whiskey, baby. All right, we have 2 UFC picks. We have a boxing pick and 2 NFL picks.
Oh my God, a 5-legger?
We have a 40% profit boost on this one. So so you get to lock in with that Flex Friday. All right, we're gonna start with the UFC. Okay, let's go. Carlos Prates, 760 brought it up. More than 37.5 strikes. This guy, this is maybe the best money line pick of the entire UFC card. He's on the main 5 fights. Leon Edwards is the guy that's plus money. Now, Leon Edwards, the casual fan, you're betting against Leon Edwards. That's the guy who knocked out Kamaru Usman with a leg kick in the second fight in the 5th round. One of the all-time UFC moments. Except this is not the same Leon Edwards. Leon Edwards is on the downturn of his career. Prates is a really good fighter. And the thing with Leon Edwards, he starts very slow. So he's actually been able to be good in a lot of championship fights because there's 5 rounds in those. He's able to build up, kind of feel it out the first round, second, find the range, and then attack in rounds 3, 4, and 5. This is a 3-round fight. He doesn't have time to be doing this. Prates is going to jump all over him. More than 37.5 strikes. I think he takes him the distance. The only shot Edwards has is to knock him out. Prates doesn't have crazy knockout power, so I like more than 37.5 significant strikes, him to put on a clinic for 15 minutes.
Dude, this is a loaded card.
It's a fantastic card.
Makachev, how do you say the lady's name? Valentina Shevchenko. She's awesome. Bo Nichols on this card. Woo.
All right, we're going to the main event. Get you some money on the main event as well. Makachev, Jack Maddalena. We're going more than 19 fight time minutes. Now, this one I was going back and forth on. Makachev, Maddalena's the best striker Makachev has faced. Now, Makachev is a little over a 2-1 favorite to win this. Makachev, every time we doubt this guy, he just destroys his competition. But the problem is a lot of guys haven't wanted to get in the octagon with Makachev because not only does he destroy these guys, he makes them look bad, like bad early on.
And he submits everybody.
But his striking is very underrated. It's an underrated part of his game he's shown in his last fight. Maddalena, though, is the champ. This is a guy who could win this thing. He's a live dog. If you're looking at a money line, it's an interesting 2-1 play because he is the champ, and he will be the best striker that Makachev has faced. But I like this fight going more than 19 minutes because of the fact that they're both great strikers. A lot of times you see this in boxing as well as the UFC. You're a little bit scared of the other guy in the first round. So it's again, finding the range, finding the distance. You're not going to jump in right away with a power striker, especially on Makachev's end, because he knows the later this goes, he could possibly submit him. He doesn't want to tire himself out, possibly walk into a shot from Maddalena early in the first round and end this thing.
Have you seen how Makachev trains?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Out in the middle of the snow crusted timber, wherever he trains at, he's taking ice baths all the time.
It's unreal.
Lifting weights out in a blizzard.
But Maddalena has knockout power as well. And I do think Maddalena is an experienced enough fighter where I don't think that even if Makachev gets him down in the first round or two, he's going to be able to outlast the round. I think 19 fight time minutes, that's in the fourth round. I believe this goes to the fifth round of the fight. So more than 19 fight time minutes for Makachev. All right, we're going to boxing. A big fight. This is like the biggest thing happening overseas. In the States, it's all for the diehard fans. But Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn, fight number 2, happening at Wembley Stadium or Tottenham Hotspur in London Saturday afternoon. This is a fun fight. If you don't know the backstory of this fight, their dads, they're two of the most famous families in all of Britain. All right. Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank Sr. fought twice in the early 90s. Chris Eubank Sr. won the first one. They fought to a draw in the second one. These two dudes hate each other. So their sons are fighting all these years later. They fought earlier this year in an absolute classic. Chris Eubank Jr. came out with the decision win, but it was a great fight, back and forth the entire time. Tons of punches landed. But we're going to go Conor Benn, the underdog, slight underdog in this fight, more than 205.5 punches landed. Watching that fight, they hate each other so much that you could tell in the ring. Chris Eubank Jr. was a little bit calmer in the first couple rounds. Conor Benn came out swinging wildly, tired himself out, had to regain a little bit of his stamina in rounds 3, 4, and 5. He ended up catching Eubank late and almost stopped him, but it was a great fight. I think Conor Benn is much more measured. Watching all the press conferences, having already done this one time, he's the guy moving up 2 weight classes. Eubank, even though he's already won, has a lot more to lose because he's on the backside of his career. Conor Benn is just making his name grow bigger and bigger. He will get bigger fights down the road. So Conor Benn, more than 205.5 punches landed. I think he puts on a better show this time. This fight is going the distance. Neither fighter is going to knock each other out, in my estimation. On to the NFL. James Cook, more than 79.5 rushing yards. Buffalo, Tampa Bay. I think Buffalo is going to be winning this game by a touchdown for most of it. Cold weather up there in Buffalo. Apparently it's supposed to be snowing, a little bit hanging around the 20s, 30 degrees. This is not good for Tampa Bay, those boys from the South. James Cook, I think, is going to run this clock out, and especially in the second half, and get after Tampa Bay a little bit. More than 79.5 rush yards. Lock it in now because it's already going up from 78.5. And then we're going to the Sunday night game. Philly, Detroit. Sam Laporta, breaking news, just got ruled out for the game for Detroit. Jalen Hurts, though, I think this is a bounce-back game for the Eagles. I really am on the Eagles side in this game. Not that I'm anti-Detroit. I just think Philly, they did win the game Monday night, to give them credit. Like, Philly did win the game, and we're kind of talking about them like they lost because it was an ugly performance. The offense did not instill a lot of confidence. But every time A.J. Brown has went on Twitter or on a stream or made a problem during the week, the next week they have made a constant effort to get him the football. More than 207.5 pass yards for Jalen Hurts. I think he puts on a show. The Lions defense has had some weaknesses this time in the secondary, especially. They've dealt with a lot of injuries early on in the year to corner Terrion Arnold, a couple guys in that back end. I think Hurts has a big night in Philly, more than 207.5 pass yards. So to recap our 5-layer, UFC, Carlos Prates, more than 37.5 significant strikes against Leon Edwards. Islam Makhachev and Jack Maddalena, more than 19 fight time minutes. Conor Benn, Chris Eubank Jr., more than 205.5 total punches landed for Conor Benn. James Cook, more than 78.5 rush yards against Tampa Bay for Buffalo. And Jalen Hurts, more than 207.5 pass yards on Sunday Night Football.
I dig it. I like it a lot. And like Sammy said, there is a payout boost going right now for Friday, so check that out. We use Prize Picks. You can use whatever you want, but there is a payout boost for Fridays. Sammy, good stuff, man. I like the boxing breakdown.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I didn't know the history between those two guys.
Oh, it's great. They're dads, one of the famous rivalries that you got. The press conference alone, if you don't watch the fight, press conference alone is worth tuning in for.
I'm excited for it. All right, this is the Fletch Zone at San Diego Sports 760. We do have a 4-pack of tickets for you to go to SeaWorld to experience their Christmas celebration. Those are coming up in hour number 2, along with Steve Hartman for his weekly chat. Those are getting more and more entertaining as the weeks go by. All of that still to come today. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This sport is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Aztecs tomorrow night, live from Snapdragon, taking on the Boise State Broncos in a must-see matchup. Aztecs currently 2.5-point favorites on 2.5-point favorites. Maddox Madsen, quarterback for the Boise State Broncos, not likely to play. Hear that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. Fletch and J.R. Tolver will get it going on the pregame show at 5:30 in the UFC 322. Della Maddalena versus Makhachev. Della Maddalena is a plus 250 underdog, almost almost 2.5 to 1. Underdog Islam Makhachev is minus 320 to win the belt. At Progressive Insurance, you can keep your career moving forward with growth opportunities, great pay and benefits in one of the country's top workplaces. Go to careers.progressive.com and apply today. That's careers.progressive.com.
Welcome to the Fletch Zone.
I'm Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long.
And it's a no-nonsense show.
No fluff, just facts.
Some of us have come to call it the freak show.
So they didn't have Brady for a few years and the NFL could breathe. I guess that's over.
Snap to May. Looks to his left. He pumps. He throws. Floats it in the end zone. Touchdown, Patriots. And who caught it? Trevion Henderson.
The Patriots beat up the Jets to kick off the NFL week. The Aztecs are back at Snapdragon tomorrow night. And could the Padres really be for sale? Sammy has to pick it up with these picks. We'll still get the weekend started in the Fletch Zone.
Damn, big voice guy. Sammy won like 2 days ago. But yeah, last night, dude, you sucked. It's San Diego Sports.
Adonai Mitchell. So
it's hour number 2 here on the Fletch Zone. We'll reset Sammy's picks from today at the end of the show today. We got a lot to get to still. 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld to give away. Steve Hartman coming on the show. And we really just went a full hour without talking about the Padres and the announcement from yesterday. We'll get to that in about 15 minutes. I did want to start off hour number 2 by ripping through the top storylines of week 11 in the NFL. I got 4 of them written down here. Let's rip through them really, really quickly here. Rams, Seahawks. Is the winner the biggest force in the NFC? My say, yes. The winner of this game between the Rams and the Seahawks, as of right now, has to be considered the biggest force in the NFC because we know about the Rams. Young defense, Jared Verse looking like a defensive player of the year candidate. Matthew Stafford spinning it as good as he has in his entire career this season, looking fantastic with that dual threat of Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. Who is there an injury update on Devontae Adams?
Oh, he's going to play the thing.
He's going to play. Okay, so the Rams have just looked excellent all year long. It looks like a very calm, composed offense that's being orchestrated by one of the brightest offensive minds in the NFL and one of the most experienced veteran gunslinger quarterbacks in the NFL. The Seahawks side, man, this is a good roster that has been built from the ground up, not even needing a rebuild after a Hall of Fame quarterback walked out of the doors. At least that's what he was when he was there. And they have gotten right back into the power in the driver's seat of the NFC West. And Sam Darnold has a ton to prove here because a year ago, when Sam Darnold was in the same situation, late in the season, playoff seeding on the line, Sam Darnold folded a year ago. Does he fold this year? I think we go a long way to find out tomorrow. In this game between the Seahawks and the Rams, which for my money is the most hyped game, rightfully so, of the NFL season so far.
I think deservedly so. The winner should be the favorite. I'm not crowning whoever does it because I think the NFC is very. There's not a team that's better than everyone else. My estimation, if you were like Sammy, you got to pick a team that's going to the Super Bowl in the NFC. I'd pick the Rams right now.
I think I would too.
I think they've been the most complete team all year. They're complete from top to bottom. The defense is very good. Offense is great. Seattle though keeps beating everyone, and there's a lot of excuses made. You beat Washington, you beat Arizona. Well, they beat Washington with Jaden Daniels on the field for most of that game. When he got hurt, it was completely out of question. You know, Seattle looks fantastic. I think they should be the favorite, whoever wins this game, but you can't write off Philly. They are winning. The winner of the Detroit Philly game also might have a claim to, hey, we're something to be reckoned with in the NFC.
That's actually the next game I want to focus on here is the Lions and Eagles, which is a massive matchup as well in the NFC. And you look at that game, and my question leading into it is, can somebody show the world what the Eagles are? Like the Eagles are winning a bunch of games this year, and they're doing it while not looking great. It's kind of, was that last year with the Chiefs? Where they were sort of limping their way into the postseason. They won 50
games, but it looked bad for a lot of it.
Right. And the Eagles kind of feel like they're doing that exact same thing this year. So can the Lions get out there and actually show the world what the Eagles are this year? Or are the Eagles just that good to where in games that they play, maybe they don't look as good because they make it a slog and they intentionally muck it up. Really pronounce the M on that one. Muck it up. And so that's why the games look the way they do.
I'm curious with this game. On both sides, it's a fantastic Sunday night game.
Is Dan Campbell still calling plays?
Dan Campbell's calling plays. How's that going to look? And Detroit's looking for a signature win. Their biggest games this year against Kansas City, the Packers, they have lost. They beat the Ravens, which is looking like a better win now, considering that they're winning. But still, they're looking for a signature win. Can they become that dominant force in the NFC? On the Eagles side of things, is Nick Sirianni in control of this team? Because what's going to happen? AJ Brown talking about drop me in fantasy football earlier this week on a Twitch stream, complaining about his lack of targets, and
which is such a 2025 thing to happen.
It is such a 2025 thing to happen.
A wide receiver for an NFL team complaining on a Twitch stream that he's not getting the ball.
And I'm curious, how does Nick Sirianni handle the game plan? Because every time, that's why we included Jalen Hurts in long shots for his over. They have, whenever someone complains, they end up going to him next. And you think with the Lions are going to score points. Whatever happens, maybe they lose the game. It is in Philly, so it's going to be a tough environment. That Philly defense is fantastic, but the Lions are going to score points. On paper, the Eagles should have no problem scoring points. You look at, again, we talk about Madden. On Madden, the Eagles are fantastic because they got 90 overalls everywhere at the receiver spot and the running back spot, and Goddard's a good tight end. Can they adjust the offense, because scoring 10 points is not going to cut it against a Detroit team that is going to be able to score and run the football?
Now, we talked about that Rams-Seahawks game. The Seahawks have 2 losses on the year, one of them to the Bucs, one of them actually to the 49ers. Back when the 49ers were healthy, the Niners are next team on this list. They're getting guys back this week. It looks like Ricky Pearsall, looks like Brock Purdy are both returning to the field this week. The defense is still a disaster. Everybody's hurt on the defensive side of the football. But the question in this one, the storyline in this one is Mac Jones a better quarterback than Brock Purdy? Brock Purdy has the paycheck. Brock Purdy has the franchise. But is Mac Jones the better quarterback? I think we learn a lot this week. Now, the rust of Brock Purdy is going to be a real factor, but Niner fans won't care about that. Niner fans are looking at this game, myself included, as, man, is Brock Purdy the guy? And God, we just paid him all this money. Is this going to set our franchise back X amount of years? Like, that is the question in this one, because if Brock Purdy goes out there and throws up a stinker, there's going to be a lot of people calling for Mac Jones to be the starter the rest of the way, and maybe for Mac Jones to be the new franchise quarterback. I'm
curious. This is not me taking a shot. I'm genuinely curious how.
Yeah, that's when someone says no offense, but you're fat. God, what's next, Sammy?
No, I'm genuinely curious with Niner fans. Like, after, so let's just say, because it's a weird spot for Purdy. Purdy's been the guy.
Oh, it's an awful spot for him.
It's an awful
He's
spot.
Been an underdog his entire career. Now all of a sudden he's having to defend from the opposite location.
That's what I'm getting to. He's had Trey Lance, people calling for Trey Lance at all the pressure. Trey Lance, like, hey, you were drafted to be the franchise, and this guy's playing better than you. It's ironic that the same thing is now happening to Brock Purdy with Mac Jones, former 15th first round pick, 15th overall pick, championship winner at Alabama, who supposedly flamed out. He did flame out in New England, but looks like he could be a legit starting quarterback in this league. The Niners don't trade him at the deadline, so he's going to be a free agent. He's going to walk. If you're Brock Purdy, you're coming in this game with a lot of pressure, and I'm just curious how long Niner fans are going to have the leash of give him time to come back from injury.
It's not a fun spot to be in, I'll tell you that. And I know me and my friend group, that leash starts tomorrow. I don't know how long it lasts, but it starts tomorrow for sure. And then Broncos Chiefs. Was the world right about Denver? Were they the team that's going to upset the Chiefs this year? Are they going to be that number 1 seed in the AFC West? I think a lot of people before the season began were saying that this is the year that the Broncos kind of take that next step. This is the year the Chiefs fall back a little bit. Personally, I don't see it. Look, the records show it. The records show everyone was right. These two teams haven't played each other yet this year. This weekend has an opportunity to be an absolute statement for either side of this. The Chiefs can reassert their dominance. The Broncos can show that they're that team. But this one's going to be fun, man, because either way this game goes, we are either majorly discounting Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos or the Kansas City Chiefs. Maybe this is the year that they fall out of that contention, of that dominance. When's the last time the Chiefs didn't win the AFC West?
It's been 9 straight titles.
9 straight? Is that right?
It was Denver won it with Manning. That was the last time in 2013. No, it's been more than 9.
His 50 touchdown season.
Yeah, it was 2013 when the Broncos won it. That was the last time, or 2015. Sorry, it was the last. 2014 was the last time they won it. Chiefs won once in 2015. The Chiefs, though, it's an interesting game because both teams have a lot of pressure on them. Chiefs have more. Chiefs have way more pressure than the Broncos because of the fact that the standings, they're 5-4. And although I think that if they get in the playoffs, they're going to be hell for anyone to deal with, they do have to get in the playoffs. And I do think they will. Vegas still currently has them as the favorite to win the Super Bowl. But the Chiefs have not had to play in a game like this early in the season in a long time, where usually there's been big games against Buffalo. There's been big games against Baltimore. But even though if they deal with the loss, it's not really affecting their standings. I mean, the Chiefs could drop to 5-5 on 500 on the season. Although there's been a lot of injuries the first couple goes, and Josh Simmons being out and Rashee Rice being out, you are what your record is. And if they dropped to 5-5, then you would have lost to the Bills, you'd have lost to the Broncos, to the Eagles, to the Chargers, a lot of your good teams, with your one signature win being over the Ravens and the Lions. So a lot of pressure on the Chiefs. And then on the other side, Bo Nix, it's one thing to come back in the fourth quarter against the Giants and some of the teams that they have been beating. In the Raiders, that was a disgusting performance last Thursday night. But if you go do it against Kansas City, a team that desperately needs a win coming off a bye, then we start to evaluate, like you said, Bo Nix in a different category of maybe he is becoming a big-time quarterback, or is he going to prove people right who go, he's not a big-time quarterback?
All right, we're going to save the big three for the other side. We're going to give away SeaWorld tickets coming up in like 2 minutes. So stay tuned if you're looking for SeaWorld tickets, 4-pack of them. But the Chiefs, if they lose this game and do drop to 5-5, Sammy, is the AFC West out of the discussion?
It's done. If they lose on Sunday, the AFC West is over for the Chiefs.
Wow. For the first time in a decade plus.
Because that's why they're tied with the Broncos at plus 135 to win the division.
God, it'd be a beautiful sight.
Because they're 2.5 games up, but the Chiefs play the Broncos twice more and they play the Chargers once. So they can, if they win their division games, they're going to be right there.
I got to be honest, man. I know this is a home game for Denver, and maybe I'm completely off on this. I don't see any way that the Denver Broncos actually win this game.
It's going to be a close game. The Broncos historically, even when the Broncos have been bad,
I don't even think it's going to be particularly close.
I hope you're right. Your lips to God's ears, but it'll be a close game. The Denver Broncos pass rush defense is fantastic. They don't have Surtain, but Nick Bonito has been a chief killer the last few years. He's been fantastic. Now, the piece that people are forgetting a little bit because they watch that Buffalo game and they go, oh, the Chiefs can't block. Well, Jawan Taylor's back. Josh Simmons is back, who has missed the last 5 games. They're going to get a lot more reinforcements on the offensive line. That's going to be where the game is won and lost. If Denver can get to Patrick, they'll win the game. If the Chiefs hold up for Patrick, I think they win on the road handily.
What's funny to me is, like, in the NFC, Eagles 1, Seahawks 2, Lions 3, Bucks 4. You could have told me that heading into November 15th, like that would be the top 4 in the NFC, and I'd be like, okay, yeah, I can see that making sense. Like the Seahawks, they got a great roster. I could see them being up there. The Lions are fantastic. The Bucks with Baker Mayfield, you never count them out. They play in a softer division. But on the AFC side, it being Patriots, Colts, Broncos, Steelers heading into Week 11,
no one would have thought that.
No one would have believed that.
That's what makes the AFC playoff picture. Let's just say it holds.
Fantastic.
Let's say the wild card is literally Buffalo, KC, and Baltimore. I mean, you're talking about there could be 3 road favorites in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because this is why it's like you got to give Drake May credit what the Patriots are doing. Got to give the Colts credit a little bit. You know, they've taken a little bit of a step back recently.
But if they get in the postseason and they're hosting one of those traditional powers in the AFC, you don't feel good about them.
Right, until you knock out the big 3 in the AFC in those 3 teams of Lamar, Allen, and Mahomes, it still runs through them. Until they say in boxing UFC, you got to knock the champ out.
Right.
858's asking, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't the Chiefs beat the Ravens with Snoop Huntley at quarterback? No, Lamar Jackson was playing in that game. He got hurt in the beginning of the fourth quarter when the Chiefs were up 30
Had
points.
to squeeze that one in. Yeah,
no, I wanted to inform the public.
Already beating the crap out of the Ravens with Lamar, but no defense before Lamar got hurt and left that one. All right, we're going to take a quick break.
Hey, a win's a win.
On the other side,
they have the best offense in the league coming into it. So we're sticking to facts.
On the other side, let's talk about the Padres. We've all had a night to sleep on that report from yesterday. How are we feeling about it 24 hours later? Let's get to it. But right now, your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld San Diego. Sammy, what color do you want to give these to?
These phone lines pop off. Let's go 17.
17. You are winning a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld. 877-767-4760 for the Christmas celebration over there at SeaWorld San Diego. You can buy tickets at SeaWorldSanDiego.com. Caller number 17 is going to win them. And you could check out a winter wonderland with a million dazzling lights and the all-new Clyde and Seymour's Christmas special. Say hi to animals like belugas, penguins, and sea otters. Bring the whole family. November 14th through January 4th is the Christmas celebration. A 4-pack of tickets on the line. 877-767-4760. Caller number 17. You're going to SeaWorld. Padres next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. How about Tommy winning those SeaWorld tickets? Congratulations, bro. Thank you for listening. Appreciate you every single day, man. Tommy winning that 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld. If you missed out on it, John and Jim will have an additional 4-pack to give away coming up on their show, which goes from 2 to 6 today.
Tommy's the man, dude. I talked to him for a minute.
Oh yeah, how's Tommy doing? Is he worried about this rain that's coming?
No, he's living his best life in the rain.
Is it raining yet? Can someone on the text line let us know? Because we were told torrential downpour was coming, and if it's not, I am disappointed because you know what, Sammy, we need it.
Yeah. We need it. What do you mean we need it?
That's what people say when it rains.
For like crops and stuff?
In Southern California. But we needed it. All right. It is San Diego Sports 760. Weird, but you collect your thoughts over the last 24 hours about this news that the Padres could be selling, the Seidler family could be selling the San Diego Padres here, and they're exploring the sale is what they're saying. Look, it feels like it's going to happen to me. You don't make this announcement. You don't hire a financial firm unless you are going to be making a sale of the San Diego Padres, and they're valued around $2.5 billion is the number I saw popping up yesterday. But it shouldn't be lost on anybody that the timing of this is just so bizarre that this announcement came yesterday, because today, November 14th, 2 years ago today was the day that San Diego lost Peter Seidler, that Peter Seidler lost his life. And Peter Seidler is the greatest owner this sports town has ever seen and will ever see, most likely, because Peter Seidler didn't make business decisions. He made baseball decisions as a baseball owner here in San Diego, which is all you could possibly hope for the next guy, for the next owner who comes in here into San Diego. All you could hope for is the reason that Petco Park has been full the last few years. The reason is because Peter Seidler didn't give a damn about what money was coming back into his pockets. Peter Seidler gave a damn about the people of San Diego. Peter Seidler gave a damn about winning a World Series. Peter Seidler cared about beating that team up north so much to where he would never say the word Dodger. And he came from a family that owned the Dodgers at one point. So I look at this search that the Padres are now under, and I hope that what John Seidler said in his statement yesterday, which was written out, not delivered into a microphone, but written out and sent via email to the San Diego Padres fans, the San Diego media, I hope that what he said was true, in which I'll pull up the quote right now. The family has decided to begin a process of evaluating our future for the Padres, including a potential sale of the franchise. If the process leads to a new owner, the family is committed to finding a new owner of the franchise that shares Peter's visions for the team. I don't know how many people out there can share Peter's visions for the team. You look around the world, and there's not too many people who have ever lived like Peter Seidler, where he was willing to do whatever it takes to spend the money, to bring people into this organization, to try, which for the first time in Padres history, they had an owner that was willing to try to do whatever it takes to win a World Series. I don't know that person exists. The hope is you get somebody that has deep enough pockets to where a couple $1 billion doesn't even matter. And to where spending a couple $100 more million on free agents doesn't matter. Those people are few and far between. So the Padres are in this moment right now where they're at a serious crossroads. And this next decision is going to be a meaningful decision for like the next 20 years of people's lives here in San Diego. Goodness gracious, I hope they get it right.
I think there should be a damn parade today. This is the greatest thing to ever happen in this city.
The way you're so bright-sided about this, I love, Sammy. I love it. But there's so many ways for this to go so horribly wrong.
Outside of them relocating the team, which there has been assurances that will not happen.
You believe him?
I hope to believe him. I do think from a logical standpoint, moving a team that's constructed and nationally known as one of the most rabid fan bases in the entire MLB. You got a great ballpark. You talk about San Diego. Who doesn't want to come to San Diego? You talk about all-star games. I know that sounds dumb, but that's the kind of stuff that goes into revenue, massive stuff for the city. It would make
that's a real thing, but that was a real thing with the NFL too. Again, but
Qualcomm was a dump
for sure. And personally, I'm not worried about the Padres leaving, at least not anytime soon. I do talk to a lot of people who are worried about that. I will say that. And so if I'm looking at it objectively, I personally am not worried about it, but that is worst case doomsday scenario. But there's a lot of other scenarios where this doesn't work out.
Here's the thing though, outside of that happening, how does it not work out? They don't spend money now. Just because John Seidler has the same last name as the late great Peter Seidler spent money. Peter Seidler put a team on the field that he thought could compete. John Seidler's done nothing. of showing he was going to spend money in a manager and players on the field. All the contracts that are maybe bloated, and we look back and go, you wish you didn't sign this Xander contractor. May need that much money, or you Darvish at that age. At least Peter Seidler was trying to win and put a team out there. John Seidler has done nothing. He won't come to the microphone. He's AJ Preller worked his magic to even keep this team recognizable last year, giving Gavin Sheets a minimum deal, backloading Nick Pavetta's contract, and him becoming the ace of the staff. Who would have thought before last season Nick Pavetta would be relied upon to be the ace of a staff?
No, all that's true. And when you're 100% right, when you say what's the other possibility of a downside, the other possibility of a downside is you become the Las Vegas, Oakland, Sacramento Athletics. You become the Pittsburgh Pirates. You become the Tampa Bay Rays, a team that's not going to spend money.
But that's what they are now.
That's not what they are now.
But
right now, they have
because of Peter Seidler.
Right now, they have the 5th biggest payroll in Major League Baseball.
Right. Because of contracts they gave out 8 to 10 years ago.
For sure.
5 years ago.
But imagine new ownership group comes in. They say, oh, well, we're just going to start slashing and burning. So buy contract, buy contract, buy contract. And what do you mean? We need to sign more of these? No, we don't.
Again.
We could easily put up a $50 million payroll and watch it trot it out.
That's John Seidler. That's what he's been so far. Just because he owns the same last name as Peter, they are not the same person.
Yeah, but he hasn't been, Sammy. The last 2 years, they have spent just
on who?
What do you mean on who? They have these fat contracts. They couldn't add anything if they wanted to.
But they were signed during the Peter Seidler days.
For sure.
John Seidler hasn't signed anyone to a big contract. I get what you're saying,
but John Seidler also hasn't had time to do so. I'm not holding a parade for John Seidler. That's not what I'm doing. What I am saying is the money has still been going out, and look forward to the future. If somebody comes in and wants to start slashing, that money can stop going out.
The only thing John Seidler has done, and this I give full credit to AJ Preller for, is sign Jackson Merrill to one of the most team-friendly contracts we have seen in the history of sports. Outside of that happening, what has he done? He's shown Craig Stammen is not a high-priced managerial hire.
Sure.
Nick Pavetta being your number one offseason signing, he's not spending money now. So if someone comes in and is not spending money, it's status quo. It's what it's been for the last 2 seasons, and look how that has turned out. It's been early exits in the playoffs when this team could have gone much further if they would have added perennial pieces.
Our buddy Trey on YouTube is saying Sammy's 100% right, and Sammy is 100% right if the right person comes in to own the Padres. That's the big if. This is a 50-50 proposition as of right now. 858 texting and says, why would someone who is smart enough to amass billions of dollars be dumb enough to invest billions of dollars into a team that's $400 million in debt and a certain lockout looming? I just don't see it. That's the other thing. Are the Padres going to be able to find someone? Seriously, like baseball is headed for disaster in about 2 years here.
This is why you need to go big game hunting with the Ballmers, the size, the people like that, to where
Twitter wants Elon Musk to buy it.
well,
you want someone to come in and treat it as a toy, which is what I think baseball owners should do, is treat their teams like a toy and try to go win with it. Maybe he's the guy for it. We'll see.
I mean,
maybe Steve Hartman will buy the Padres.
If you have someone who comes in with a kind of blank checkbook that doesn't care about paying $400 million, i.e. you're Stan Kroenke, who said, I want to be out of St. Louis so bad, I'm going to build my own stadium in Los Angeles and fund it myself. That's who you need for the direction of this franchise.
That'd be great. Look, if I had a couple $1 billion and didn't care about it, I think that'd be fun, but I don't. So San Diego Sports 760, Steve Hartman, maybe he has a couple billion laying around that he could throw at the Padres. That's next, live on the iHeartRadio app.
This sport is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. San Diego State taking on Boise State tomorrow live from Snapdragon. That game will be at 7:30. Of course, you can hear it right here on San Diego Sports 760. Fletch and J.R. Tolver will get you on the pregame starting at 5:30. And the Bills will be without star tight end Dalton Kincaid due to a hamstring injury against the Bucs. At Progressive Insurance, you can keep your career moving forward with growth opportunities, great pay and benefits in one of the country's top workplaces. Go to careers.progressive.com and apply today. That's careers.progressive.com.
San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2. John and Jim will take over then. A message from the 858. Not necessary, but we love it, man. 858 says, just want to say I love the show, guys. I listen every day at lunch. Keep up the great work.
Oh, man.
We love you, 858.
Hell yeah. Thank you, 858.
Different number texting in saying we need Jeff Bezos to buy the Padres. Look, that'd be great. If there's a Jeff Bezos or somebody who has billions and billions and trillions of dollars come on in to buy the Padres and treat it as a toy, treat it as a project for them to go get a World Series to add to their trophy case, that would be ideal. And if that's the case, man, this is the best thing to ever happen to the Padres. I'm just a little worried that's not going to be the case. So we'll see. Going to be a fun year to talk about, I guess. Steve Hartman is jumping on for his Friday appointment. Steve, do you happen to have $2.5 billion lying around?
You know, if I had saved my money, I would be closer to that number. But unfortunately, I have spent literally every penny I've ever made. And, you know, you have choices, right? So my dad was one of those guys that really saved, right? He had a long life, comfortable life. And then, you know, he saved his money. And I learned nothing from him. So everyone makes a choice. By the way, did that 5-team parlay pay off big for you, Fletch?
No, dude, it was awful, Steve. It did not. It looked okay in the morning. I think the Colts got me a win early, and then it just fell to crap after that. But it was a tough week. Don't worry. We're getting another one from you this week, Steve. So get ready.
Beautiful.
Now, Steve, you do have a bit of a unique perspective on this because, well, you were in San Diego forever. You knew Peter Seidler very, very well.
Yep.
So I look at this, and today, November 14th, is the day 2 years ago Peter Seidler passed away. Peter Seidler, in his final public interview, stated the words, "The Padres will be in the Seidler family for generations to come." Well, 2 years, almost to the day after Peter Seidler's death, the Seidlers announced they're exploring selling the Padres. So just your perspective on all of this and how this has kind of worked out for the Padres since Peter Seidler's untimely passing.
Well, let's go back to when Peter Seidler took over controlling ownership of the Padres. And I had never met Peter Seidler. I certainly knew who he was. I knew he was part of the O'Malley family. When the O'Malleys tried to buy back the Dodgers and were unsuccessful, he turned his attention to the Padres. And he reached out to me. Like, I get this email that Peter Seidler wants to meet with me. And I said, okay. So we met. And of course, you know, this was a 2-time cancer survivor at the time. We ate at some vegan place in La Jolla. It was offbeat to say the least. But the one thing that I took away, and this is about the time when the Chargers were leaving town. So I'm begging Peter, you got to make the Padres relevant, man. We never talk about them. There's nothing to talk about as far as the Padres. Nobody gives a crap about the Padres in San Diego outside of a few diehards. And he promised that will change. And when he passed, I put it out on X. I said, this is the greatest owner in the history of San Diego sports because he didn't just talk the talk, he walked the walk. However, that being said, it was his dream. I mean, he knew that he had a finite time. Well, we all have a finite time, but he knew time was short for him. And he wanted desperately to win that world championship for the San Diego Padres while he was alive to see it. And unfortunately, it did not happen. That was his dream. I don't think it was the dream of the Seidler family. When we talk about the overhead cost and all the huge contracts that he signed up, they want to rid themselves of that. They do not want to play this game. So remember, we talked about this, Fletch, on the morning show where, you know, he sort of pissed off a lot of people by saying, like, hey, we're not a small market team. There's only small money teams, and we're not going to be one of those. We're going to spend the money. And he really exposed the fallacy that, well, small market teams have no money. They all have money. They just choose not to spend it. But I'm getting a sense from the Seidler family that what was his dream is not their vision.
Wow, that's
well said.
Totally well said. Flipping to the NFL real quick for Sunday. What game do you think has the most storylines heading into it? You think that Sunday night game, Lions, Eagles, Seahawks, Rams, Chiefs, Broncos? What do you think?
There's only one game, and that's the Broncos and the Chiefs. I mean, come on, Sammy, are you serious? I mean, let's put it this way. If the Broncos win this game, they deliver the knockout punch. I mean, it's the knockout punch. I mean,
as in Chiefs miss the playoffs, as in Broncos win the division.
I mean, I know one thing, it'll be the knockout punch for them to win the AFC West, and that hasn't happened in a long time. So, yeah, I mean, there is no bigger game because the Chiefs, despite their current standing, are still the biggest team in this league. And if the Denver Broncos, who've just been playing awful football, but finding ways to win, can win that game, that is by far the biggest story of the week. It's not even close. So, I mean, that's what we're looking at. The Chiefs' complete domination of the AFC West could be extinguished if the Broncos win. Now, that's a big if, guys. I don't know if that's going to be one of the games to pick because that's a tough call on that game. And I mean, you know, the Broncos offense is completely discombobulated, and now they're going to go against one of the best defenses in the league.
Well, that absolutely is.
I mean, the Chiefs are going to go against, I mean, I don't know if it's going to be another 10-7 game, but defense will rule the day in that game.
That absolutely is going to be one of the games to pick, Steve. So I start working that out in your brain right now. Another game that's fascinating to me this week is an NFC AFC game between the Buffalo Bills and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bucs, say whatever you want about them, they're fun as hell to watch, man. And they've dealt with as many injuries as anybody in the NFL this year. They're the ones who seem to be weathering it the best. You look at teams like the Ravens and the Niners who've kind of fallen apart with injury. The Bucs just keep on chugging along. And a lot of that is Baker's mentality, I think, is kind of spread throughout the entire team. But the Buffalo Bills, who a lot of people, myself included, I think you too, Steve, have circled in as a Super Bowl team this year in 2025, have been really disappointing the last few weeks. What have you seen from the Bills? And you don't have to amend your pick, but have you taken them out of that conversation a little bit?
Well, I mean, look, one of the reasons I liked Buffalo to represent the AFC is I felt like, okay, they're in an atrocious division. I mean, the Jets are ass, the Dolphins are ass, and then there's the New England Patriots. I mean, Mike Vrabel has done one of the greatest turnarounds in the history of the National Football League. And so, the Bills lose this game. They're 2.5 games behind the Patriots. They're looking at, trying to hang on to a wild card spot right now. So you're absolutely right. It's a big game. I don't really know who to trust in this game. Tampa Bay, like you say, it's been the X factor because, again, you have a quarterback in Baker Mayfield that has shown this year and throughout most of his career that, it's not over till it's over. He finds ways to pull games out that teams would otherwise lose. But this is a very tricky time right now when we talk about the NFL. We're coming up now on, week 11. And it's that time when the teams that are in contention have to win, and then you have those teams that are already pretty much out of it. And are they going to play hard? They should. Obviously, they're fighting for jobs right now, but are they actually going to show up on game day? So these are very hard games to predict. But look, the Bills are at home, so the Bills should beat Tampa. And if the Bills don't beat Tampa, then I have to very much question any kind of allegiance that the Bills are going to come away and get into the Super Bowl.
Sunday Night Football, you got the Lions and the Eagles going. AJ Brown going on Twitch this week, kind of making a stink about not getting the ball. What do you make of Philly? Like, they keep winning, but it's very ugly. Do you think that they should be the favorite in the NFC?
No, I don't. I think the best team in the NFC right now is the Rams. I think the Rams are the runaway favorite team right now. Why is Matthew Stafford not being mentioned for MVP? He has 25 touchdown passes and 2 picks. 25 and 2. Matthew Stafford right now, and I think the Rams are the best team in the NFL. The Lions are struggling offensively. I don't care. A.J. Brown is a guy that, has been an elite receiver, but, that's the problem with being a wide receiver. If you don't have a quarterback that's going to get you the ball, there's nothing you can do about it. Somebody has to throw you the ball if you're going to be one of the elite receivers in the league. You're right. I mean, the Lions have, Saquon, had a big week, and then they had a bye, came back, and he goes back to mediocre. I mean, he doesn't look great. They've had some offensive line changes that have been a factor for them. And this is another game, as you guys mentioned. I mean, it's a huge game. The Lions are another team. A year ago, all we were talking about was the NFC North. Wow, look at the Lions, look at the Vikings, look at the Packers. Now, all of a sudden, the Bears are in the mix. Were the Lions sort of a mirage a year ago? They get blown out at home by the Commanders in a playoff game. So this is definitely one of those games to see which one of these teams is for real. I think, again, these are going to be close games. You got to give the Eagles an edge at home, but yeah, I'm not sold on the Eagles right now. To me, right now, in the moment, the Rams are averaging 37 points a game over the last 3 games. The Rams are the best team in the NFC right now, maybe the NFL.
Yeah, I might have the Seahawks number 2 in the NFC. The way they're playing, they're just beating the crap out of everyone. That's an awesome game coming up. A game you'll hear right here on San Diego Sports 760. All right, Steve, you've been in Southern California essentially your entire life. You're one who knows better than just about anyone when we get these weather reports that, man, it is going to be a torrential downpour. Southern California is going to be the wettest place in the country over the next 4 days. How do you think it's going to go over the next few days here? You think we're actually going to get rain like this?
Well, I'm here right now, obviously, in L.A. To be honest with you, it's just sort of been a sprinkle all day. We haven't had any hard rain in the Ventura County area yet today. I got to go to TV tonight out in Hollywood. It seems like inland it's been a little more fierce, but hey, we always need rain, right? Isn't that what they always say?
We
always
need it.
Rain. The biggest problem for the rain, obviously, is the fire zones that we had in LA and the Palisades and the Pasadena area. I mean, that's why they're really concerned right now about slides and everything else. But no, I mean, I worked last night on TV. The weather people all night long. She said it's going to rain, 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 rain. And so, yeah, all of Southern California is going to get drenched.
You should see our people over here on Kogo, Steve. They're running around like chickens with their heads cut off. They don't know what to do. It's chaos. It's pandemonium.
This is the joke. We know this, right, guys? I mean, the idea when, people always say, well, what's the difference living in Southern California and anywhere else? I go, we don't have weather.
No.
Like almost anywhere else on the planet, every day starts off with what's the weather. We don't have weather.
God, Steve would have been
when
great.
There is that occasional weather, then all of a sudden it's full panic mode, and you see accidents on the road. People don't understand. Hey, slow down a step. You're on wet roads. Slow down a little bit. Come on.
Steve, you ever thought about getting into meteorology?
Freaking idiots out there.
Steve would have been the best weatherman ever. All right, Steve, we need your parlay here for week number 11. I'm putting it together just now. These are money line picks. All you're doing is picking winners or losers. I will put money on this, and then you and I will go out to a nice steak dinner if this wins. And Sammy, too. Packers at Giants. The Green Bay Packers going to New York. Packers have been questionable all season long, but they're going to the Giants. What do you think?
I'm sorry about the Giants. I mean, it's tough. They just fired Dable. So, yeah, it's over for the Giants. I'll take the Packers. I think that's a safe play in that game.
All right. Chargers at Jaguars, a rematch of the playoffs a couple years ago.
Tricky game. I mean, seriously, you go from West Coast to East Coast. The Jags have looked really inconsistent. The Chargers looked a little bit better. I would say this. Chargers are slight favorites in this game. Jim Harbaugh is not going to lose this game. I will take the Chargers in that game.
All right. Niners at Cardinals. Brock Purdy coming back. Ricky Pearsall likely coming back. What do you think?
Well, I'll put it this way. If the 49ers lose this game, Fletch, get out of town. Come on, the Cardinals again. I have insight on the Cardinals. It's another organization in total disarray right now. The quarterback situation's all over the map. 49ers go into Glendale and get the victory.
All right, now AFC North, which is always tricky, but there is a battle in the AFC North this weekend in Cleveland. You would think Ravens is the obvious choice here, but I don't know, Steve. What do you think?
the obvious choice. I'm sorry, is Lamar Jackson back?
Yeah, what?
Yeah, he's playing.
AFC
AFC North battles, road team. It's tricky.
Miles Garrett could be the first guy to win Defensive Player of the Year on a 2-15 team. I don't know if the Browns can actually win another game. Do they have a quarterback right now?
Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, exactly. And they refused to play Shedeur Sanders. By the way, on our national show, we did an over-under before the season began on how many offensive snaps Shedeur Sanders would take at quarterback, and our over-under was a half.
And
where'd you take?
So right now the under is still in play.
What did you take?
0. I thought, come on, he's got to take a snap, right? I mean, there's no way they're going to go stay with Joe Flacco. They didn't. But man, they just do not like Shedeur Sanders. Why did you draft him? Why would you waste it? If Dylan Gabriel was your guy, you took him in the 3rd round. Why would you waste a 5th round pick on Shedeur Sanders? So I'm going to definitely take the Ravens.
All right. Now the game, Steve, that you just said was the biggest game of the week this week. Chiefs at Broncos in Denver. What do you think?
Okay. So I have taken the road team in every game. Am I right?
Yes, you have.
So I am going to take the road team. Yes, I got great news for you. I'm just out to get, Sammy.
Well,
I don't want you jinxing the Chiefs. Pick Denver.
Steve, now you're going to ruin the parlay. You just said it.
Let's see. The Chiefs are 1-3 on the road. The Broncos are 5-0 at home. Look, the Broncos will not score in this game.
Okay.
How are they going to score?
All right.
They have no offense. The Chiefs have one of the best defenses. So, and the Chiefs know their season is on the line. Which team needs to win this game more? The answer is the Chiefs. So give me all 5 road teams. There you go.
Good stuff, Steve. Thank you for your time, brother. We really do appreciate you. Miss you, man, and hope to see you soon.
Thanks, guys. Love you.
Love you too.
Love you,
Steve Hartman, one of the best to ever do it in the world of radio. Every Friday we get him at 1:30, and it's always the highlight of my week. I don't know about you. Man, feel like I could use a cigarette. Let's take a break and we'll come back. I'll tell you what the payout is on this Steve Hartman entry and all that good stuff. We'll wrap this week up next. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Hey, it's Fletch for Gary Cooper at Mountain Trust Mortgage and Realty. You can visit them online at mountaintrustmortgage.com or give them a call today at 858-376-1299. Gary Cooper, the feds are meeting. What does that mean for us?
Hey, good question. They're meeting this week, and it is anticipated that the Federal Reserve will lower the interest rates by another 0.25%. However, I always tell all of my clients, keep an eye on the 10-year bond. That's the benchmark for long-term interest rates. And it appears that, everything's pretty well priced in. The current 10-year bond is at 3.98. So what that means to you in the Fed meeting is that, as I spoke about last week, interest rates are down. You could be in the high 5% range, depending on your loan to value, your credit scores, type of property, all of those things. And what's going to be really interesting is that there's even talk about another possible Fed rate cut in the following meeting, but we'll have to wait and see. So if you've refinanced or purchased your home in the last probably 2 to 3 years, it might be worth looking. And if it's not now, I can hold your application and we can see where rates go further down the road and lock in at the right time.
Call Gary Cooper today, 858-376-1299. See what he can do for you. Thank you. Big weekend coming up. Stay tuned to San Diego Sports 760, San Diego State, Boise State tomorrow night, 5:30 pregame show with myself and Jared Tolver right here on 760. We also have that Oklahoma Alabama game you're going to hear here. The Rams Seahawks game you'll hear right here. And Monday Night Football between the Raiders and the Cowboys. You will also hear here on San Diego Sports 760. 619 saying, is it weird that calling Steve brother when he's like 50 years older than you guys? I do kind of see Steve as an older brother in radio.
Steve is one of my favorite family members. It's not blood related.
Yeah, Steve was one of the first guys I worked with in radio. And man, I appreciate everything he's done for us. It is San Diego Sports 760. John and Jim are coming up next. Sammy and I are almost out of here. Is there any shot Notre Dame gets upset by Pitt this weekend?
No, Jeremiah Love's going to run all over that defense.
Can Oklahoma upset Alabama?
Only if Mateer plays well. I think he's still hurt with his thumb, so no.
USC get the win?
Yeah, they're going to beat Iowa.
Okay. We got a busy weekend full of sports, man. This is going to be a fun one. We are out of here. John and Jim are next. See you Monday. I'll be here tomorrow, though. So listen tomorrow, 5:30. Bye.